Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Stu Horvath's book, which discusses Dungeons and Dragons among other tabletop role-playing games. So this is my review of Stu Horvath's book, and the name of the book is Monsters, Aliens, and Holes in the Ground, a tabletop role-playing game guide from Dungeons and Dragons to Mothership. Really fascinating. So first of all, before I go any further, I read this and it was excellent. I very much enjoyed it. It was a fantastic read, and it does a phenomenal job of presenting all tabletop role-playing games in a historical perspective. It is also a curated list, right? So not every tabletop role-playing game is listed here, just historically ones. Just ones that are historically important, right? And so that is very interesting, and it's also very interesting to see like what he chose to put in and what he chose to keep out, right? So this is a historically important book in that it really, I feel like it's really an academic study of tabletop role-playing games, and it goes from D&D all the way up to Mothership. And I think it's fascinating that like Mothership gets called out. Mothership is very interesting, but like why you would pick Mothership over Morkborg or some of these other ones is really fascinating. But he did do a really fantastic job of collecting and making a curated list of tabletop role-playing games through every year since 1974. Dungeons and Dragons came out on February 7th, Tuesday, February 7th, 1974. And we've had Dungeons and Dragons ever since. And literally in 1974 there were other tabletop role-playing games that came out, and then every year since there have been tabletop role-playing games that have come out, right? So he did an excellent job. What I thought was one of the things that was interesting is at the end I read Stu Horvath, who's this guy, and he's got his own podcast, and he's been studying tabletop role-playing games at the level of the tabletop role-playing game industry, and he's in New Jersey. So that's right in my backyard. So I'm going to see if I can actually find this guy. I'd love to meet him. I think he's a brilliant mind, and like I said, he's in my backyard. So I'm going to see if I can like encounter him at some kind of convention or something, because I really would love to pick his brain on why he chose to put this in and why he chose to put that in. It's really fantastic. There is a ton of academic and historical research that is being done on Dungeons and Dragons. This is one of the few pieces I've seen that are looking at the entire tabletop role-playing game space. So it's a really unique vantage. It's an extremely important book from a historical perspective, and 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it. It's worth purchase. It's worth reading. It's really fantastic. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.